Hi, welcome to our virtual home tour. I'm John Rourke, the editor of Phoenix Home and Garden magazine, and I'm joined here with architect Mark Candelaria. Hello, Mark.
Good morning. Here we go, right? We're zooming forward.
Yes, we are. So the house that we're visiting today was actually published in our March 2020 issue when Isabel Dellinger Candelaria, who did the interior design on this house, was named a Master of the Southwest. And you are also a Master of the Southwest from a
few years back.
Few years back, yes. But so this house has an incredible pedigree going into it. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the style is French transitional, is that correct?
Yeah, we'd say French transitional, definitely inspired by some French design, but a little bit of modern twist put into it.
Okay, and the talk about the genesis of this project, because if I recall correctly, there was a home already on the lot.
Yes.
And then you decided to kind of tear the main house down and basically start over.
Yeah, and I believe the house was originally owned by actor Leslie Nielsen.
Okay.
And then the house was facing the street like typical. And when we got there, we noticed this just amazing view of Camelback Mountain and the golf course, kind of at 4 o'clock.
Right.
And so we decided just to really twist the whole house, virtually rotate it 90 degrees, and put the front on the side and the back on the other side, and captured all those views.
Right, and it's one of the that's like one of the, I think, hallmarks of the houses that you do, where it's like there's always kind of that you open the door and it's this big ta-da, and this house definitely has that. So you open that front door, which is on the side of the house, which is the front, as
yep.
And there you're in this great room right past the entry, and it's just
right.
kind of this soaring ceilings and beautiful light, and then the I believe the whole wall of doors open
collapses, yeah
to
totally
the whole outside, and then the view of Camelback Mountain on the right outside there.
Right. I think it's fun when you approach the house, you really have no inkling that there is going to be this amazing view, and then you kind of come in and you start coming down the side, and you're like, what the heck is this?
Exactly.
And then just as you said, you come out and boom, there it is. So
right.
it is a fun experience.
Yeah, exactly. And so talk a little bit about the the architectural details and nuances. I know this is a home owned or inhabited by a family, a busy, active family with a number of children.
Yep.
So you kind of had to take that into account.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a blend of, it's a neat harmony between a family home, and so it's set up that way in terms of the rooms and everything. But there's this really beautiful elegance to the whole house too. So they kind of live side by side. You have this active way of living combined with this beautiful, really formal feel.
Right, and it is very elegant, and it's very. When I first visited the house, the first thing I thought was, this is so French. Which is not something that you see in the valley that often. And so that it's kind of like this refreshing breath of unexpected air. And a lot of that has to do with the interior design, but also, as you mentioned, it is very elegant. It's a very elegant home, but it's not done so in an intimidating way. It's
still comfortable. It still has a real nice, comfortable feeling. And like you mentioned, the indoor-outdoor really pulls you out to that patio. And that basically has almost a 4-quadrant setup. You got the great room, you got the outdoor patio, you got the kitchen, and you got that breakfast room. And they all kind of live together. So it's a fun arrangement.
And moving on to the kitchen for a moment, what was important to the homeowners in the design there?
Well, the kitchen just always, as you know, is the hub of the house. And no matter where we put the kitchen island, that's the first thing everybody goes to. So as you mentioned, you walk into that great room, you get that stunning view, and gravity just pulls you over to that kitchen. Mm-hmm. And then when you're in that kitchen, though, you're still really engaged in all aspects of that central living area. And there we really gave it that French vibe with the beautiful cabinetry, the ceilings, and then that fun little breakfast conservatory room off to the side.
Now, is that the Manhattan room?
Oh, I haven't heard that expression before.
Oh, okay.
We did go to Manhattan with that particular client to do some shopping and researching. I think we had more fun than we did researching, to be honest with you.
Well,
so that's probably where that Manhattan room came from.
Okay, so the room I'm thinking of is just beyond the kitchen. It's got the striped rug.
Yes.
And the big windows. Is that the breakfast room?
It's technically the breakfast room.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know if much breakfast eating ever happens there, but it's a great space. It's a lot of fun to be in that space.
And
I know the dog likes it a lot.
Well, that room is just, for me, that house is, I mean, it's so beautiful, but that room, that's the one I keep coming back to, because it's so Parisian and so light filled, and it's like you just want to go in there and spend the afternoon reading a book.
Exactly.
So as far as the setup of the house goes, so you've got that great room, you've got the adjoining kitchen, you've got that breakfast room. Then over to the left, if I recall correctly, you've got kind of the master suite and her office. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's kind of her office. It's actually, I think it's his, but you'll have to find out. It's a nice office. It's a formal office. It's off to the side there. So yeah, the house is basically split. It's a split plan. You got the master on the one side and to the left, as you mentioned. Yeah. And then the kids were put, miles away upstairs. They're teenagers, so they're way up in the upper story. And then, you got the man cave over there kind of splitting everything. So it's a great setup.
You're right, exactly. And especially, you go upstairs and it's just the kids' bedroom and kind of like I don't know,
kids' lounge
area. Kids' lounge, perfect. Yeah,
yep,
exactly. And then talk a little bit about the man cave, because as I think when you mention this Parisian aesthetic that can be kind of construed as being feminine, which it is not in this case. But then there's the man cave, where it goes full force, master of the house type aesthetic.
Yeah. So the rest of the house, as you see, is very light. It's very airy. It's very indoor, outdoor. And then the man cave is the complete opposite of that. It is his escape from everything. He wanted to be able to go in there, watch football, be dark, be cool, and just totally escape the world. And you get that vibe when you're in there. It's totally. To me, it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's interesting that it doesn't feel out of place in the house. It's just like this. And I know the homeowner spends a lot of time in there. The few times I've talked to him, he's like, well, yeah, in the man cave. So
yeah. Well, what's interesting about that house, and obviously we weren't that clairvoyant, but given the whole Zoom COVID stay-at-home order, the house works exceedingly well, because you have the master on one end with an office, you got the man cave completely separated, the kitchen conservatory is separated, and then the kids' lounge is completely separate. And you saw the kids' rooms; they're broken up really nicely, and so everyone can really operate, simultaneously in that house.
Let's talk about a little bit about that master suite. What is it that the homeowners were looking for?
I think they just wanted a nice retreat, and they wanted to capture again the views of Camelback. The kids didn't care, so they put the kids kind of over on the side there. They put the master really in the prime spot. Mm-hmm. It has a great golf course view. It's got the Camelback Mountain view, and it's on the quiet side of the house, and it gets the morning sun. It's in the shade in the afternoon. So all those determinants really dictate where we place rooms and how we place rooms. So the house really kind of just grew organically by what the site gave us.
Okay. And did you do one of your things like you often do, where you sketched it out on a napkin and then?
Let's just put it this way: we did a few sketches at the bar in Manhattan a few times.
There you go. Okay. Well, it worked,
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that house with them. They were a hoot.
And they were pretty involved, were they not?
Oh yeah, our clients are always really involved. I mean, we love that. We love the experience of designing a house. I mean, and since we kind of get clients that want that experience, that's really what it's all about. And so we just love that whole process.
And what is that process like? How does that begin? Once you've agreed that you're going to work together, are there questions that you ask, or do you start with what
we start with
them?
We start with a full questionnaire that we give them, and then we derive information and data from that questionnaire. We kind of put it all into a spreadsheet, and then we start extracting out rooms out of that spreadsheet. Okay. And from there, we really design collaboratively with the designer, with whoever's on the team right out of the gate. And really, whenever you can assemble your team right at the beginning, that is the best way, because then everyone's input is there at the start, not along the way. When you bring people along the way, everyone wants to justify their newfound position, and you get a lot of turmoil. Whereas if you bring everyone to the table right out of the gate, everything just really just starts to go real seamlessly from there.
Okay. That's great that it was a fun process, and I think it shows in the final product, because it's a smart house for a family. Just the way you mentioned, you have the master suite on the one side and the kids are miles away, and but it all works together seamlessly. So upstairs, you've got that kids lounge area. Talk about that a little bit. It's right.
Well, when you go up the stairs, when you come up those stairs, you land right in that lounge area. So it's a great spot for mom and dad to keep somewhat of an eye on what's going on up there. And then the kids' bedrooms are down around the other side over those garages. We have that whole garage court that kind of is a separate area from the house that faces a busy street, and that really acts as our buffer for the whole house. So the lounge is just a great spot where the kids can go. It's above the man cave, so the noise is basically stacked on top of each other. Okay. And so that works well too.
Okay. And then talk a little bit about the, I noticed when I was there last and I was upstairs and I was noticing the windows, which are they're almost like French doors that don't open.
On the upstairs?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we did the Parisian balconies to really help with the elevation off the outer court. And, with teenagers, I guess you just don't want a lot of doors that open. So we did fixed doors just to give the look. It gives a nice effect at night, especially at night when you look at that auto court. It's like being in a little Parisian piazza. I guess, I don't know what they call piazzas in Italy, but maybe there's something called different in Paris,
Yes, exactly. And then if I recall correctly, the neighboring house that is adjacent to the auto court area, that's fairly close, correct? So were design decisions made, or maybe landscaping decisions to kind of minimize that?
We used that whole garage area to kind of just really almost buffer and screen those houses. Okay. So it really, when you're in their property, in their backyard, you really feel like you're the only one there, which is kind of nice. And there really is no front yard on this house. I mean, we put all the living space to the back.
And then in that backyard, adjacent to the pool, there are a couple of additional buildings. Maybe a casita or two.
Yeah, there were a couple casitas that were part of the original house, and those were left because there was some memories or some history is the better word. Some history from Nielsen that were in those houses. So he kept those houses. They're kind of fun.
Okay, and then did you integrate those architecturally with the main house, or just kind of let them stand as their own?
No, we just let them stand as their own.
Okay.
So they're just their own little deals out there. And I guess down the road, if you ever want to change them, they're obviously easily changed. But he likes the memory of who lived there and what happened there. And
that's fun.
Great stories. So
a fun part of the history.
And and he has his office out there in one of those. So that's where he goes to really get away from everything. And get some work done.
I gotcha. So Mark, tell us about what the homeowners have communicated to you that they appreciate most about this house.
Yeah, well, every client comes to us with a description of how they want to live. We like to cook. We like to be out by the pool. We like to do this. We like to do that. And what we try to do is really design a house that's going to take that statement to a whole nother level. And so what we wanted to do was just really address those things, create these great indoor-outdoor spaces, the fire pit, the pool, the kitchen. It all opens up to each other. And they just love it. They love hanging out there. Like I say, it's virtually like they're on vacation every day. It's their own personal getaway, their personal resort. And, we had a great team on this. Obviously, you mentioned my wife, Isabel, with the interior design of Earth and Images, but Jerry Meek and Desert Star Construction did just a fantastic job. And I've had such a great, Jerry Meek built the first house I ever worked on back in 1982. Wow. So, that's almost 40 years now that Jerry and I worked together. So, things like that are just, it's more than just building or designing a house. They're just things that add to our fabric of our life and our history.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like I think I said earlier, this house just has this great pedigree going into its creation, and then the combination of that with the homeowner's involvement, just it just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, it makes it a lot of fun. That's what it's all about. I mean, anyone can get a set of plans from anybody, and that's fine. But I think a lot of people get it, especially now with the last year. I think people really realize how important their home is to them. And it's like, take the time to make it special, because even if we don't get trapped in our homes, how nice it is it to live and wake up every day in something that's just absolutely about you, and it's beautiful, and
Yeah.
you can just, live every day wonderfully.